John Price, fifth generation on the cattle ranch here, family ranch. So I didn't actually start it, but I grew up here, went to college for a little while, and my wife and I came back here to raise a family. Thought it was a good place to do it. I have done Red Angus clear back. When I first remember Red Angus was my grandfather, probably the early 80s, I think. We did a lot of AI work, and we had Simmental cows back then, but the Red Angus went for the first calf heifers. We did everything with Red Angus bulls. Calving ease was the reason, and those first calf heifers very easy to calve. However, we over the years figured out those Red Angus calves were doing as good as or better than most of the other stuff we were raising. So we slowly kind of transitioned into more and more Red Angus as time went on, and I believe it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, right around 2000 sometime, that we started using the FCCP program. Sold a few bulls that we had left that were not Red Angus, and straight Red Angus bulls from that point, and haven't looked back. Clear back when, before the FCCP tags, and before Superior Livestock Auction, we sold at the local sale barn. It was kind of how we did it year after year. A couple years we retained some ownership and did it a little differently. Worked well sometimes and not so well other times. When Superior came along, sometime around, I think it was in the late 90s that we started, by 98, 97, probably 98, somewhere in that neighborhood, when the family started selling the calves with Superior. And at that time, we didn't use the FCCP tags to begin with. So we sold a couple of years on there without them. And then, for us, it was it was a pretty easy decision to make to use those tags, because it was an extra marketing, tool for us to have somebody else pushing, trying to sell your cattle or promoting, whether they were directly selling them or not, but they were promoting them. So for us, it was kind of an easy decision to make. And so we tried it, and it worked very well. And so, like I said, we've been that way ever since. For somewhere around 20 years, 22, 23 years, we've been using the FCCP tags. And it continues to work well. As long as it does, we'll keep using them. So the extra marketing is always a good idea. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly what premiums are for what, but I've always felt like the FCCP tags were probably the biggest part of that premium. They identify that those calves, what those genetics are, and it's an easy way for the feeders to know, have a good idea of what they're buying. Also, the female side of it has been so good for Red Angus, for us, and for the industry in general. So we sell a lot of our heifers, go into replacement programs, and keep all of our own. And then a lot of the ones we do sell end up in replacement programs somewhere. And that's, I think, a really good identifier for people that are interested in those genetics. They know where they're coming from. So I don't see us changing that. It works very well. The certification process is fairly straightforward. It works pretty well. I don't know if possibly a way to tie some of the genetic information into some of this, which I think there's some things being worked on that way with the blockchain stuff. So I think that's probably developing anyway. Otherwise, I think it works pretty well. It's a pretty painless process, and to me, it's a fairly easy process. We get the numbers to Red Angus and the tags that we use, and they kind of certify everything, and so it works well.